faster if you just stand close like this. Wow, this is just like the real movies. Feel so alive right now. I'm alive right now. Wow, I'm joyous. I'm feeling so much joy. Your friend texts you. Her name is Lauren. She says, I have an extra ticket to Godzilla X Kong. Colin's sick to work tomorrow and come with me. And you say, what? And Lauren says that it's a 4DX 3D experience. Please, oh please come to this movie that you will later find out is a part of a larger franchise. But what is 4DX? Lauren tells you that it is a cinematic experience that promises wind, scent, wind, moving chairs, movement, good times, lightning.
Absolute cinema experience.
You think to yourself. You consider calling into work. You consider faking a cough and stowing away to this debauchery of late-stage capitalism unlike anything you've willingly put yourself through ever in the name of honoring your FOMO. But inevitably, you decide that you cannot lie to your boss because you've never lied to your boss and that you need money to live. But are you really living?
Not living in a way that those theater seats will shake you to your physical and emotional, mental and spiritual core, huffing scent spray and choking on the straw of your overpriced, under-iced fizzy drink.
And experiencing aliveness as someone newly and truly alive at the theater. This is a real rendering from Google of the movie theater in my city. Why does it look like that?
Absolute cinema experience.
You show up to work the next day, sad that you are in fact missing out and fearing it. Lauren ends up having a great time at Godzilla X Kong without you, and she tells you that you must go. You must experience Godzilla X Kong in 4DX 3D. You cave. You make plans to go to Godzilla X Kong alone because you actually don't mind going to movie theaters alone. Freak. You buy a ticket, and it costs more than you'd like to admit. You arrive way too early to the theater. You audibly say, hell yeah, loud enough for the projectionists in the booth of the theater to hear you, and they feel discomfort for you, so they start the trailers early. You spill the top layer of your popcorn onto the floor. You put on your super cool 3D... your super cool 3D glasses, and the movie starts, and your senses are not awakened by lightning, scent, movement. You watch a sequel about a mega gorilla and his electric lizard pal and are misted lightly on the elbow for about 2.5 hours. The mist, the liquid coming out of the armrest, it smells like sour milk. That's the scent. That's the 4DX experience, baby. I'm feeling so much joy. You have a bad time. You feel kind of lonely. What the fuck am I doing? The next day, you are prompted to complete a movie theater experience survey. You fill it out. You never fill out this shit. What are you doing? You type out the words, "The chair was broken, I think. Can I have a refund?" And you wonder if you've become your own nightmare. Imagine if that happened to you. I am also imagining it because nothing so silly would ever happen to someone like me. And no, they haven't gotten back to me about the refund. But yes, after consulting with Lauren, I definitely did not have the intended 4DX experience. To add insult to injury, Lauren gleefully declared to me in a post 4DX haze,
I had a gas of a time. I might as well have been at Disneyland.
Well, there must be a solution. There must be something to be done to remedy my sour experience at the 4DX Theatre. There must be something to be done about what Chris Fleming correctly identifies as violent luxury.
Just wanting to see a film at period piece. I'm not looking to order a chicken and also get a tattoo.
He also cleverly highlights the absurdity of being forced to relax in public, letting your guard down in a reclining chair to make you feel like you are sleeping in your own bed, let alone in the darkness of an overstimulating movie theater environment. Violent luxury is not an experience that the people need, nor do they necessarily want.
Everyone loves it but me.
Yet, we are being sold this heightened and supposedly better way to participate in the theater. Movie theaters kind of took a hit during the pandemic, and with the rise of streaming everything and anything from the comfort of our homes, the movies need some sort of way to offer us exclusivity while paradoxically capitalizing on the public's growing dread of making decisions. What do we watch? Oh, this is so hard. I hate making decisions. At the end of the day, we are all human. We like salty snacks and things that are new. So a 4DX movie-going experience for a few extra bucks sounds and looks exciting to some of us who want to feel a pulse more than once in a while. Of course, there is a distinction that should be made between what a 4DX movie-going experience is and what Chris Fleming is describing. I do not think you can order movie theater shrimp while seated in a mechanical bull-esque leather chair. I also don't think every film warrants this level of an experience. But some films do. Something that Chris fails to observe with his joke is that some films are only meant to exist here. Some trash is meant for the landfill, created with the intent to never leave that place. It's a pack of batteries. You need to dispose of it in a special way, or you can just chuck it in the trash, just put it in with the normal garbage, whatever, and then we just don't speak of it ever again. Did you know that there's a sequel to Twister, the tornado movie, and they didn't tell the original director about it? This is Lauren and I. This is what we look like. This is us going to the theater because Lauren reaches out again like the true friend that she is, and she says, there's a way to fix this. There's a solve. It's called Twisters. Basically, the plan is to join Lauren on a 4DX adventure in seeing Twisters, the sequel, a modern adaptation of Twister, just one, there's just one, a romp about some unemployed storm chasers from 1996 and a fucking flying cow. This time around, the film promises Glenn Powell playing the character of Helen Hunt. This time around also promises a moving chair, wind that doesn't smell weird, and good friend hangout times. What could possibly go wrong? This will be fun. We like trash in this household. I put my batteries in a little cup on the counter and then they stay there until I cry. Lauren and I both crank our 4DX chairs of hell to the max for the maximum experience. We want to feel like we are in a Ram truck as it falls into a ditch, and coincidentally, the film doubles as a Ram commercial featuring Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, and her flying friends. We both agree at the end of our experience that the chair movement was not too overpowering or distracting. The most intense rumbling kind of felt like taking a truck over a gravel road. So if you're from where I'm from, or some other places in the world, you know what that feels like, so you don't have to go. End of video, bye, subscribe. I will mention that this particular experience did fail once again to include wind. There was also no lightning. There was lightning in the movie, but it was better than nothing. The question really is, did 4DX add anything to the experience? Yes. It made the film less boring. Did I get a kick out of the movement being utilized to punctuate low-stake moments like a truck door slamming or a knock at the window? Yes, that was hilarious. I didn't know we were watching a comedy. Do I recommend this experience? I don't know. I feel like if you want to have fun with your friends, you can just rent a Ram truck, take it down a gravel road into a slight downpour, do some of this for added effect, and it's the same thing. You can even put a movie on the dash, and don't do that. But does renting a Ram truck with your bestest of friends and slightly moving your body as you go down a gravel road, does that have Glen Powell? No, it does not. Do I have anything to say about the film Twisters other than what I have to say about it functioning solely as a 4DX experience, as a moving seat cash grab extravaganza for the post-pandemic cinema goers? Maybe I do have something to say, but the actual movie itself? Like, what's up with the opening sequence being so unintentionally funny?
Okay, we'll worry about it later.
The tornado just vacuum sucks her friends away from her. Just
It's gonna be okay! Keep holding on! I've got you!
just takes them away into the great gray unknown. The movie is so gray. I do want to comment on the weird love triangle thing that goes on, but there's no kiss. The film kind of follows these beats of impending romance. There's some tension, but it is never relieved. There's no smooch. There's also this weird assumption that the audience is going to pretend that Daisy is having a hard time picking between Glen Powell and this guy, her little friend zone buddy from her tornado chasing past.
Okay, we'll worry about it later.
Her nerdy friend who financially benefits from people's damages after the tornado. Like, girl, I know it's Glen Powell. For context, I don't think this man is attractive. He scares me a little bit. If we're going by character, I don't know why we're supposed to be on the edge of our seat. Like, wonder which one she's gonna pick. The tornado math doesn't add up. I don't know why there's an attempt to explain this fake tornado math. Don't do that. Get rid of that scene where they're hemming and hawing over their math. What's up with Daisy's accent falling in and out of a British, English, Alabama, Northern UK, right from your sweet, sweet town of the central of the Midwest? What's up with her accent not being consistent? Daisy, you are a good actor.
Man, I love Oklahoma.
New York's great. If I could hear, well, from what I see, they're trying to make a difference. What?
The part of the movie where the theater screen is ripped out and away by the tornado, and it just transforms the scene into this grotesque bastardization of, or this weird, like, on the nose, It's 4DX, get it? It feels real. Very meta. Very, 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 get it? Get it? Because that's what you're doing right now. Get it? Get it? This film can only exist in this capacity. Don't you feel good about the state of entertainment?
Absolute cinema experience.
But what about Glen Powell? Glen Powell is in this movie. I feel the need to repeat it because it's important for me to emphasize the emphasis that Twisters had on ensuring the audience knows that Glen Powell is in the movie. I have to also warn all of the folks who may be watching this video who are not from what we'll call, for the sake of avoiding me being doxxed, I'm sorry to those of you who are not from a yeehaw prairie town. I am inarguably from one of the most yeehaw prairie places, and Glen Powell in Twisters, what's his character's name? Tyler? His name is Tyler. Glenn Powell's name in the film is Tyler. All I saw when Tyler was on screen was some guy in a bar who's gonna roofie me, or the guy my friend was dating at one point while she was deep into her comp het journey, or a guy who acts blue collar, drives a blue collar vehicle, but hasn't worked a day in his life. We all know a Tyler if you're from where I'm from. This is Tyler's shirt. Some of this may not resonate with you, and that's okay. I think it's best that you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Glenn Powell is so in this movie that the movie doesn't work if you don't think that Glenn Powell is the most attractive man to live. If you don't think that, you're not necessarily going to have a bad time, but the absurdity of Glenn Powell's leading man antics will be distracting. There's a very specific scene in Twisters that I do want to talk about because it is burned into my brain forever. We're gonna break it down, don't worry. Glenn Powell needs to get from point A to point B. Glenn Powell is in his truck. He needs to get to the house. It's also raining. Glenn Powell is wearing a thin white t-shirt. He walks through the rain in the downpour. Nothing new is being established. This scene, one could argue, does not even need to be in the movie because it doesn't add anything. This scene only exists in the film to act as a Glenn Powell thirst trap. You're going to buy Glenn Powell.
Just how many people are making me cold and wet right now? I try to get as wet as humanly possible. The wetter you are, the more talented you are.
The scene itself is not awful, but it's not campy enough for it to work for me personally. But it is a scene that stood out to me as a representation of what the media is referring to as making Glenn Powell happen. You're going to buy Glenn Powell. Because Armie Hammer didn't exactly work out, so here's his Texan equivalent. He's a softie, his looks are not assaulting, he knows how to drive you out of a storm, and he's a proud American. On that note, Glenn Powell's presence in Twisters embodies the archetype of bad boy, but soft and warm in the middle, just like your ma's pies. Small town defender and do-good believer, otherwise known as Hallmark holiday movie man. He is the simplification of the very complex issues that arise in the aftermath of natural disaster. He's here to help. He's a warm hug. When he's handing out food to those directly affected by the tragedy of the tornado, he's saying, I believe in the working man. If you work hard your whole life, God will reward you, but that don't keep the devil from raging through your home, and that's why you need a free tornado t-shirt, and you should be allowed to buy fireworks at the corner store amongst other military-grade items for the everyday. They literally shoot the tornado with fireworks to kill it. That's how the tornado is defeated at the end of the film. Anyways, under every Hallmark holiday movie man, there is a weirdness that lies. Under every warm pie man archetype, there is a goal to maintain a make-believe version of what small-town do-good men actually accomplish in heteropatriarchy. I said I wasn't gonna talk about this movie like this, and I'm talking about this movie like this. Back to the tornado really quick, because we do need to talk about the tornado. The tornado is actually really important and intentional. If the antagonist of the film takes on a non-human form, you can make your leading man say and do whatever you want. This is something that often happens in the plots of actual holiday Hallmark movies. An uncontrollable storm, a forgotten town, an unforeseeable non-human force will prevent the annual Christmas fair where the leads will kiss for the first time.
Due to increasing winds from a nearby storm, please expect delays.
Oh no! But it's okay, because someone with Glenn Powell's face is going to ride in on a horse and save you from a man with brown hair, and also he has enough resources to save the day. Merry Christmas! I don't know how this comparison happened as a part of the Twisters 4DX experience video, but I'm not wrong. Go watch a Hallmark movie and then go watch Twisters 2024 and tell me if there's a difference. There isn't. There There's no difference. It's the same movie. Watch them side by side. It's a vision test. Often the twisters in the film are compared to bulls, unruly animals to be chased and tamed, or an enemy that will strike when you least expect it, targeting what you love most, like the American flag, the local rodeo, a family-run restaurant, a farmer's market, a movie theater from the 1930s, a power treatment plant.
Do you ever see anything like this?
The twisters also represent both Glenn and Daisy's characters' fear of not being able to face their fears. Twister's message is not really about chasing tornadoes and stopping them, ending natural disasters. It's actually about overcoming trauma by replacing fear with pure adrenaline. This is a very healthy idea, by the way. Extreme exposure therapy, if you will. If you feel it, chase it. It's an overcomplicated way for the film to tell the audience that if you have a fear of rejection, like Glenn Powell's character does,
Maybe if you feel it, you should chase it.
you should purposefully seek out and consequently develop an extreme sense of self-importance while also being a bottom. I'm sorry, but if a man chases me through an airport, he's not the one calling the shots and telling me what to do. That's the true message of Twisters. That and the secret agenda to slip Glenn Powell into everyone's drinks. You can't taste the difference. I think that's everything I have to say. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry that it's been so long since I've posted to this project, this ongoing and weird platform. I do recognize that my returning audience, hi, if you're here from something else, I'm sorry it's not Star Wars. I'm aware that y'all are very aware of my inconsistent presence here, and I appreciate your patience, you watching and being here and hanging out. Okay, bye. Be safe. Enjoy your day. Go watch a movie that I recommend. I recommend The Sweet East. That was very good. I saw that earlier this year. Dream Scenario. It's a Nicolas Cage film. It's very, very good. More on that later. Love Lies Bleeding is great. One of the leads from Love Lies Bleeding is in Twisters, and she's not in it enough. She's in Love Lies Bleeding, though. It's very good. Maybe I'll start talking about films I actually like. But that comes from a different place, a different layer of vulnerability that I'm not ready to explore, to bye.